Repulsion, directed by Roman Polanski. It was his first English language film, shot in black and white, stars Catherine Deneuve. In many ways feels like a spiritual precursor to Rosemary's Baby, which Polanski would go on to direct in 3 years. Both movies are primarily about isolation, about being alone in a confined apartment, in a confined space, cut off from other people, mostly physically, but not strictly just physically, because in both cases there are opportunities for going out, establishing a connection with others, but those themes are also explored kind of on a more emotional level, of being alone even in a crowd. Repulsion focuses on the character of Carol, who is a French girl living in London, works in a beauty salon, lives together in an apartment with her sister, and she seems to be somewhat uneasy, somewhat irritated by the presence of outsiders in her vicinity, especially men. There is this guy trying to ask her out, which makes her uncomfortable. Also, her sister is having an affair with a married man whose presence in the apartment is also very, very awkward for Carol. She also sometimes seems to just drift away in thought, even amongst others, just sits there alone in her mind. And when one day the sister and her guy leave for vacation, she is left alone in the apartment, which starts her spiral towards the loneliness, the depression and insanity fueled by hallucinations and dreams and delusions. So, as I said, sounds kind of similar to Rosemary's Baby, although in this case the source of anxiety, as it were, is not the pregnancy, as it was in Rosemary's Baby, but it's the titular repulsion, I think, towards men and sexual relationships. It's very clear that that's something Carol has no interest in, and it completely creeps her out, just the idea. Now, I will say, I don't think the film is on the same level of excellence as Rosemary. You can see at this point Polanski was still trying to figure out some of those themes, and not all of them are so engrossing. But having said that, I think it's still a solid film overall. I think it draws you in at the beginning by, showing you some things and you not knowing where it's heading exactly, and then it keeps your attention by making you guess if what we're seeing happen is actually real or it's just happening in Carol's mind. And then finally, as the last 20 minutes roll in, it really increases the tension and makes you sit up with full attention. It is also very effective at using the quick jump scare with sudden loud noise, sudden loud musical cue. Now, I know it's a trope in horror films, it's become overused over the decades for sure, but in Repulsion it just works very, very well. So yeah, a solid movie to be sure, especially as a companion piece to Rosemary's Baby. But admittedly, if I were to pick just one of them to watch, it would be the latter.